Returning to our big exclusive on NDTV, the political war of words breaking out over drought. Uma Bharti making a series of allegations and defending her government's track record in handling drought. Let's now go live across to senior Congress leader Jyotiraditya Scindia, who joins me from New Delhi. Mr. Scindia, thank you so much for joining us. First question to you is to get you to respond to Uma Bharti's somewhat unconventional defense that she offered when I asked her whether the centre was late in responding to drought. And she actually said that drought is not something that you can plan for, because last year there was supposed to be low rainfall, but actually the rainfall turned out to be fairly all right. Do you think that that's a credible defense?
I think that is the most absurd statement that I have ever heard. Farmers are undergoing a crisis in our country. There is no planning on behalf of this government. There should be a planning put in place with regard to water bodies being constructed at the local level, which is at the panchayat level, at the national level in terms of big reservoirs, big dams. All that we have seen from this government is only talk but no walk. The Panchayati Raj Ministry budget has been cut down to a paltry 100 crores. AIBP scheme, which was promoted by the UPA government, is no longer in functioning. The Manrega program, which was first derided by this government, then they said there should be 150 days of employment. Only 1.8% of the people in the country today have got 150 days employment. There is a negative balance of funds with 20 states, out of which 4 states, which are the most drought-stricken, have a negative balance of 1,455 crores. So it is an absurd situation, and it's rather shocking for a minister of the central government to say that this is something that we cannot plan for. No. India has a water crisis. Yeah. We need to have a credible plan in place from the central level right down to the district and the village level to be able to tackle this crisis.
But also, when she claims that she's going around the states trying to talk to them, she says she's given them warnings to deliver on these water projects which have got held up for years. She says it's a state subject, but from her side she's trying to do her best. Do you buy that?
Well, this is a classic case of passing the buck. The central government is empowered to ensure that it releases funds, it approves projects on a statewide basis, and the monitoring of that has to be done by the centre. So why is the centre sounding so helpless? On the one hand, you say sabka saath, sabka vikas, you say achhe din, and on the other hand, you have parched throats across the country, and you are pushing an agenda of shouting Bharat Mata ki jai. It is an absurd situation, Srinivas.
Jyotir Scindia, she also did make the allegation, though, that one of the reasons for the water crisis, particularly in Maharashtra, is because of the fact that it was under the Congress NCP's time that a large number of irrigation projects were not completed. And in fact, she said that that was something which was linked to corruption, which she is going to expose.
Well, she must talk of her doings. Two years the NDA government has been in position. What have they done? Apart from cutting down budgetary allocations, doing no work with regard to water bodies. We had a RRR program in place, a renovation of water bodies and restoration program for water bodies that we pioneered in the Congress government. AIBP had the maximum funding in place. Panchayati Raj Ministry had the maximum funding in place. We delivered on our promises.
No, but at the same time,
on their behalf, there is just all talk but no walk.
No, but at the same time, it is true, isn't it, that during almost 15 years of Congress NCP rule in Maharashtra, only 0.1% of irrigation potential was added. This is something that your own state government published a report on. And the fact is that members of that previous government are being probed for corruption. So that's not something which can be denied.
That is a separate issue, Srinivasan. That is a separate issue. But the fact is that even in Maharashtra, there's a lot of work that has been done on water bodies. You and I may argue that that's not enough. And today the issue is of a drought, which means we need to put our best foot forward and make sure that this sort of a situation never occurs again. There has to be groundwater harvesting that is put in place. There has to be recharging of water bodies that is put in place, but there is no talk and there is no steps taken by this government.
In Karnataka, which is a state run by the Congress, the drought situation is fairly severe. Would you say that the state government there was inadequate in being able to tackle drought and not able to take the steps that you've just mentioned?
I think drought is a national issue where centre and state must work together. And there has to be planning that's put in place for the next decade, not for the next year or 2 years. And we as politicians have to be able to think that far ahead. I think both center and state, as I said, have to work together to make sure we tackle this menace. But just passing the buck is not going to work.
All right, Jyotiraditya Scindia, strong words there. Passing the buck, he says, is not going to work, and also says that it was absurd for Uma Bharti to make those statements. So clearly, the political war of words heating up over drought. Thanks very much indeed.